WhiskyJason here, whiskey from the viewpoint of an American in Germany, often tasting rare and exotic whiskeys. Today I have a doozy for you once again. I have the Ardnamurchan Aqvavitae double bottling. Yay! So we have here, first of all, dogs tags. I don't know why we have this on here. I mean, come on, that's 80 cents I don't have to pay twice. Ardnamurchan, Western Highlands, Scotland Distillery. We have the AD. Very good, I understand that. 04 Colin 16. Don't understand that. CK. Don't understand that. 411 413. I understand that. This is Cask.411. This is Cask.413. All right, so the cryptic messages. Now, the label is very interesting because the UK tax stamp is actually part of the label. It's not put on there. It's actually, so they take a little marker and just cross it through because I did not pay UK tax on this. I paid German tax on this. And of course, there's a QR code here to find out all the information. Now, except for the cask number, everything's identical. They were both distilled in 2016. They were both matured for 7 years in ex-Adelphi hogsheads. What does that mean? It means that these hogshead had previously held Adelphi whiskey. Now, Adelphi doesn't make whiskey now, do they? No. So, Adelphi had a bottling probably at the end of 2015, maybe at the beginning of 2016. They emptied those casks, wherever those casks came from, and then they filled it with their own new distillate here. And so this is a fairly old whiskey for Ardnamurchan, with its 7 years. And you can first of all see that there's a total difference in the color of the whiskeys. So we have the 411, which is much darker. We have the 413, which is much brighter. Just look at those color differences. 100% of that difference is due to the cask. 100% of the color is cask. Non-chilled filtered, no color added. And now the thing is, we don't know, and no one will tell us. Maybe someone else has heard from Roy or from someone else, but no one will tell us where these casks were originally filled. So we just know it's ex-Adelphi wood. Now, just to be honest here, first of all, hogsheads are not produced very often anymore in the UK. It's much cheaper to just bring over a bourbon barrel. Why break down the bourbon barrel and make a new barrel out of those 5 barrels, make 4 hogsheads with 250 liters instead of 200. So efficiency is the name of the game. We just fill up a container, put those bourbon barrels in there, bring them to Scotland, fill them up, and put them in the warehouse. In the old days, it used to be much cheaper to actually then we raise a barrel and we actually deassemble a barrel, put the staves in the container, and then make a new barrel, for example, a Speyside cooperage. And now that is not done that much. So the wood used here is a couple of years of age is old. 20, 30 years ago is when that originally hit the shores of Scotland, is what I would say, or even more. So all of this has the same composition. As I said, we have Kelly and Jess 50-50 filled these things up. We have here the barley that is used in both of these are Consato from the Broom Hall Farm. The time here for the mashing, they have the first water was at 64.5 and 76 degrees Celsius, and the third water was at 87 degrees Celsius. The fermentation time here was 76 hours for both of these. The distillation was exactly the same. So Nicky Doctory was the still operator. The cut started at 75% ABV. He stopped at 65.7. That was the heart that was used here. And the only difference is that they have here is the thing that says here, the cask type was Hogshead, refill Hogshead, ex-Adelphi, Unpeated. I haven't mentioned that yet. Both of these are vintage 2016, and this is cask number 411, 413. That's the only difference, 1113. Everything else is identical about this. Now, Roy, Mr. Aqvavitae himself, was at Ardnamurchan. I wanted to say Adelphi. Was at Ardnamurchan, and he saw this. He tried them. Was like, "This is fantastic. I want to bottle these," and it was like, "No, sorry, we don't do any independent bottlings." So, but. So Roy wore them down. Is my story. They finally agreed to bottle these, and then it was the price. So the first bottling from Loch Lomond he did there was with Royal Miles. That worked out just fine. I bought a bottle of that. I still have it unopened over here. One day I'm going to do that. Whoops. But I bought my bottles from them. And just to show you what it means for us to do this here, the price is involved in actually getting this stuff to us. It's one of those things where it's just kind of sometimes disgusting. All right, so they were 85 pounds at the Royal Mile shop there in Edinburgh. Now, I got these for, 74 pounds 17. Why? Because they took off apparently the VAT and the excise tax, which I don't believe. I don't believe they took off both. I wrote for my invoice, and they wrote, "Now you did not pay any VAT." It's like, okay, I believe that. But I do think I paid excise tax, and yet they did not reimburse me for that. But hey, that's all right. I did have to pay the excise tax in Germany, and I did have to pay the VAT. We'll get to that in a second. All right, so I bought 4 bottles. 2 of each was the max. So I gave 1 bottle of each to a group in Germany that have a Ardnamurchan cask. I'm part of that cask sharing program, and they did their own little bottle share there, and they're happy, and I'm happy about that. In my community, I did this as well. If you're in Germany, I still have about 10, 15 CLs over. You can talk to me. I can send you samples. Of course, you send me money. I send you samples, but that's the way it works. So from the 74 pounds and 17 cents at the end, it turns into 123 euros and 32 cents. Sorry, 92 cents. How does that happen? Well, first of all, they took 30 pounds to send these over for shipping and handling. So that's $7.50 a bottle just to send that over to Europe. And then on top of that, so that means I have 27 pounds, turns into about 339 euros at the moment with exchange rate. On top of that, I have to pay another 102 euros and 62 cents for our excise tax and for our VAT. So that means that I paid for 4 bottles. So that means another 25.50 on top. So 750 euros for the sending, 750 pounds, another 25 euros. So in total, for 4 bottles, I paid 495 euros and 66 cents, which divided by 4 turns into the famous 123 euros and 92 cents. So I'm paying about 124 euros for something that costs 85 pounds in the UK. Is it worth it still? Yes! I'm so pleased to be part of this community experience. All right, so on the nose. Oh, I have a nice cookie dough with vanilla. I get a tiny, tiny little bit of a chalkiness, but I get cookie dough, vanilla, and a tiny, tiny little bit of a white fruit. It's like a white cranberry tartness. Now over here, that's the 411, that's the 413, sorry, 411. The first time I smelled this, it's like, that's an ex-Bunnahabhain cask. I get sherry. I get leather. I get tobacco. I get, goodness. I thoroughly, thoroughly enjoy the smell of this. This is familiar. This is unique. Same distillate, everything exactly the same, just different casks. 100% of the color, it comes from the cask, and somewhere between 50 and 80% of the flavor comes from casks as well, people. And this is so evident here. And I'm so happy that Roy was able to persuade them to actually do this with us here, because this is wonderful. This, they say on the website of Ardnamurchan at the QR code, autumn outdoors, tobacco leaves, cigar box, cranberries, tart raspberries, cherries and chocolate. Yep. Spearmint. Don't get the mint. A tang of pink grapefruit, rock pools, oyster shells, strawberry jam. Do get a little bit of that strawberry jam. Over here for the 413, we have the springtime freshness. We have a creaminess. Jalapeno butter. I've never had a jalapeno butter. Have you? Kiwi. Green apple. Yes, the green apple skin, definitely. Lime, starburst. Coastal salt, chalk, and seashells. That's one of Roy's favorite tasting notes at the moment is seashells. I don't know if you ever licked a seashell. I have, but they're very mineral, a little bit of mineral, a little bit of salt going on in there. All right, let's try these. Both of these have been watered down. Both of these have been diluted down. Both of these have been reduced down to 55%, which is fine. They don't have to be cask strength. I think the experiment and the experience of having these whiskeys here at the same ABV is genius. Thank you. Thank you, Ardnamurchan. Thank you, Roy, for that possibility. Now, 7 years of age, 55%, almost cask strength, is still a little hot for me sometimes. All right, so I'm going to try this, maybe add a little bit of water and see what happens here. Cheers. It's hot, but it's flavorful. After I get over the initial burn, they say here, mouth coating, yes. Creamy oiliness, yes. With green chilies. I get a chili heat here. But then, it's that green fruit. It's a light saltiness. It's lime juice. It has a little bit of chalkiness. So it says mouth coating, creamy oiliness, green chilies, bright kiwi fruit. Don't get the kiwi that much, but maybe. Lime juice. Oh, looky there. Salty sea foam. Love that one. Slate. Houses over here where I live often have slate. I've helped people actually put slate on their houses before, and you get the dust in your... No, different. At least our slate's different. Limestone with a chalky drying finish. I thoroughly enjoy these flavors here. Very, very good. It's a little too hot for me, but the flavor profile here is excellent, in my opinion. The price, would I pay £58 to get a new one? I'm part of the community. These are bottles I'm going to share. Probably not. Would I buy it once? Yes. Would I rebuy it? Especially with the fact that I'm paid basically 280 euros for these two bottles, all right? So not 280, 250 euros, I'm sorry. But still, that's a lot of money for two bottles here. All right, over here, the 411. Cheers. This is hotter, but yet more interesting. This does have an oiliness. This does have a creamy sherry type of moment going on, but it's totally different. I have more of a marmalade and jam type of moment going on here. I have tobacco. I have dark cherry chocolate. Well done. Well done. Two totally different beasts here. The official tasting note says bold and unctuous. Chili jam. Never had that. Cranberry sauce. Oh, cranberry, the tartness. Interesting. Raspberries, sweet apple, cinnamon powder. Ooh, sandalwood. Oh, a little bit. Yeah. Cigar leaf, black olives and brine. I love black olives, but no, I don't get that. A long drying finish with those signature oyster shells and chalky white pepper. Now this I can really enjoy without water. This needs a little bit of water over here. Um, I just we have the geekiness and the selection of bottles at the moment where we can actually see what cask maturation does. Would we like to know where these casks came from? Yes. Would we like to have the whole curriculum vitae, the whole CV, the whole resume of the casks, where they had been before that, what bourbon was in there, who actually made the cask, what was in there before Adelphi, Ardnamurchan put their own juice in there, of course. But the spirit itself, the distillate itself, speaks to you. And it does tell a little bit of a story here. It tells a nice story of the dark richness of the fall compared to the wonderful lightness of the summer and springtime. Elderberry. I'm getting a lot of elderberry here. Very, very interesting. Like this. All right, so tiny little bit of water in here. Let's put a little bit more water in here just to be certain here. All right, so now the water gets rid of the creaminess at the beginning. It continues until the end, but it does open up a little bit more of that fruity kiwi moment. Mm. Mm-hmm. Mm. Hmm. I think I finally hit the sweet spot. I'm going to say about 48% is the sweet spot here. Oh, that's good. Oh, that's really good. Oh, yeah. That's something I'd go back to time and time again. That's really nice. I hope, I beg Ardnamurchan, please give me more unpeated Ardnamurchan. I am not a peat fan. I'm not a peat head. I want more unpeated Ardnamurchan. Please give me that. Please give us that, because not everyone in the community wants that. Even the lightly peatiness you do, the mixture and the marriaging of the blending of the different casks here. Very, very, very nice. And Roy, thank you. Thank you very much that you enabled us, empowered us to be able to go on the journey with you, to experience Ardnamurchan like we could never do if we had not been there. Friends of mine were in the area. They were like, okay, let's go visit Ardnamurchan. They were like, that's going to be a 90-minute detour up and a 90 minutes back down. And there's nothing along the way that we could visit. That's one of the places that you would actually have to go that you want to go to. It's not, oh, we're driving by. Oh, look, there's the exit. We can just stop off real quick. Nope. Ardnamurchan is you either want to be there or you'll never get there. But it's worth the trip if you can plan it for your day and for your trip. The people there are terribly friendly. Every single time I've contacted them about anything, if it's Jenny or anyone else, has always gotten back to me. The best people there that I've had interacted with so far, really, really good people, and they're doing very, very good stuff. I'm going to add a little bit of water to this as well, just to be fair, and see what happens. As I said, 55% for the 411 is nice. A totally different product. I would not believe they're from the same distillery. Ooh. Get a little bit of a lime moment going on in there. Maybe I even got the black olives with a little bit of water. This is great. This is really great. Well, thank you. All right, so my first question of the day is, what is your favorite Ardnamurchan bottling so far? Was it the AD sherry that everyone talked about? What was it, I think 3 months ago? Is it something else from Ardnamurchan? What have you tried that you like? I've had new make. I've had younger products here that were the first release. I've had these now. I have cask shares that I'm going to one day be able to have myself. I'm really excited about what Ardnamurchan is doing. I think Roy's more excited, but that's very, very good. And my second question of the day, since we have Roy here, outside of Roy, who is your favorite whiskey tuber in English? Is it Ralphie? Is it the Whiskey Tribe? Is it someone else you know that you like, you love, you enjoy? Write down some names. Give a little bit of love to the Whiskey Tube community out there. Thank you very much for watching, liking, subscribing, and I'm very, very privileged. I'm very, very thankful that I was able to try both of these. Roy, once again, thank you very much. Whiskey Jason here. Bye-bye.